What we're doing here is we're making a drying rack for the buffalo meat that we're butchering, and we're going to be using the bark to tie the rungs up there, and we're going to make probably about a 4-rung rack. And so what I'm doing, these are willow, which is really easy to use, and the willow bark is not the strongest material to use for ties, but it'll work in this instance. And so I'm just peeling off the outer bark of the willow here, and I just go ahead and peel the whole stick so I have enough material to use. And I've got 2 sticks already here that I've already peeled, and in order not to be tying too many ties, we're going to put them all up at once. I need an assistant. So what we're going to do is we're going to tie these rungs here to the drying rack, and what I need you to do is hold the other side right there. And I'm going to start to tie this one up probably about here. I'm just going to use the bark to wrap around it. Tie this 3rd rung up right over here. I'm going to put it on the outside. Elizabeth, you can hold that up there. And this one piece of long bark should be enough to get this on here. I'm just going to wrap that bark on there nice and tight so we don't have any of the meat slipping off. And just tie it down here at the bottom, and that should hold that rung on here. Now, since this is a pretty big drying rack, I wanted to put a middle rung on there so I can get more meat on it, and I just thought I would just add another rung on through the middle here, and since I crossed that one that way, I'm going to go ahead and just cross this one here this way. There's no special way to tie this on. You just work it around so it's holding everything in place, and then tie it off. The actual fire isn't going to be going here. What's going to be happening is we're going to build a fire over there on that end of the fire pit and move some of the coals underneath the drying rack, and then put some punk wood, or wood that's a little bit rotten, to make a lot of smoke, and that's going to keep the critters and varmints and bugs and everything else away from your food drying, which is a real big problem when you're trying to do things like this, and let your food be able to be dried before it's eaten by somebody other than you.
Denise was saying that this should be ready by the end of the day today if the weather cooperates, if it doesn't rain. Because what you want is this to be glazed over. And the reason the fire is here is because we want to keep as many insects off of it as possible. And it's not doing us much good, though. The air's going the wrong way. It's pushing the smoke off the other way, but the insects are not too bad right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. You can see how quickly this starts to glaze over. This has only been here for about an hour. You can see underneath it's still a little moist and it's sticky, and on the outside it's completely dry, and there's a membrane on top of it. That's exactly what you want. Over here you can see this is the stuff that I just did, and it's not glazed over yet, so it really only takes about an hour for that to happen under these kind of circumstances.
What we're going to do now is we're getting ready to move the wood over here from the fire, some of the coals over to underneath this drying rack. And the reason why we're doing that is to get the smoke to be going up on the meat a little bit, to help it glaze over a little better, and also to keep the little critters like the flies away. So when we move the coals over here, we're going to put some punk wood on it that Joe just went to get.